joy of our salvation. In every season of restoration, the Lord restores the joy of the salvation. When people become born again, there is something that happens in your system. There is a joy that comes. It is called the joy of salvation. It is that joy that brings the mind of God, the power of God, and the presence of Christ in our lives. Now, when the devil begins to tamper with our salvation, we slowly begin to lose the joy of our salvation. When you lose the joy of your salvation, your prayer life dies. When you lose the joy of your salvation, your spiritual capacity dies. When you lose the joy of your salvation, your love for God dies. People begin to stop worshiping. Why? Because they have lost the joy of their salvation. Sometimes you discover you used to be very committed to the things of God. You will not miss church. You will not miss intercession. You will not miss Bible study. You will not miss anything that has to do with God. But suddenly, something happens in your life. You find yourself at a place where you are no longer feeling the comfortability, the happiness of being in the presence of God. It means the joy of your salvation has died. The devil can kill the joy of your salvation so that you no longer enjoy the praise of happiness in the systems of God, in the systems of the church. When you are no longer happy in the presence of God, when you are always finding fault in the house of the Lord, when you cannot see your own mistakes as a child of God, it means the joy of your salvation has been lost, has gone. And the moment your love for God is dying slowly, you are losing your salvation. You are losing your salvation. As the joy of your salvation dies, your salvation is at stake. I came to decree in your life, let there be restoration. When people lose the joy of their salvation, they develop familiarity. They become so used to the nature of the flesh that even when sin is prevailing in their lives, there is nothing that is bothering them. When you lose the joy of your salvation, you die consciously. You can sin without being bothered. You can be going through pain of abuse, pain of rejection, pain of distraction, without you remembering and realizing that at the moment I just need Jesus. Why? Because you have lost the joy of your salvation. When people lose the joy of their salvation, everything that is wrong becomes easy to do. No restriction whatsoever. Why? Because they have lost the joy of their salvation. Appetite to error comes in. Appetite to sin comes in. Appetite to lust comes in. Appetite to what is wrong comes in. Why? Because they have lost the joy of their salvation. God must restore you today that you can no longer do a long thing and your mind is still stable. That you can no longer sin and your mind is still stable. We need restoration that we may have the joy of our salvation. That even when sin strikes, we remain guilty until we come to repentance. When people lose the joy of their salvation, they forget repentance. They abandon repentance. They forget salvation. They abandon salvation. They stop studying and reading the Bible. They stop praying. When people lose the joy of salvation, they stop preaching. They stop evangelizing. We need to come back to the intimacy of Christ. It is only when men lose the joy of their salvation that they die in intimacy with Christ. They die in their relationship with God. Why? They have lost the joy of their salvation.